Hello, I'm Francesca, and we are going to dive into the astrology and tarot oracle for the month of September 2025. And of course, yay, the eclipse portal is open. So we have a lunar eclipse at the beginning of the month, a solar eclipse at the end of the month. And whew, when I look at September, it is a busy month. But that's not a bad thing. There's always time to take a breath, to integrate all those things that you need. So in this video, I'm going to talk about the main transits, then move into my perceived favorable days for love and connection. And then I also have some juicy tarot and oracle cards for insight guidance, any other nuggets of awareness, wisdom, all those magical, beautiful things. So if that's something that you're interested in, please do keep on watching. Thank you to all my subscribers and returning viewers. And if you are new, you are most welcome here in this community. So without further ado, let's just dive into September and what's coming in, what to expect, how to best prepare for it. And as I said from the get, it's going to be a busy month. And so right away on September 1st, we start off with Saturn entering Pisces, where he will remain for the rest of the year. So that's good. Now, with that said, this is a really good time for maybe subconscious work to come up or to reflect on maybe patterns that you do from a space of curiosity. And if it comes up, be like, oh, that's interesting. What's underneath that? Because then we have the lunar eclipse, which is a really good time then to shift, transform, release that. On the second, Mercury enters Virgo, which is one of the signs that it rules. So this is a good day opportunity to get maybe more organized, maybe more detail oriented with current projects. So all good things. Like I said, it's to me, it's always a glass half full. Of course, for me, then the glass is full. Because then it's how to work with these energies to make your life as easy and graceful as possible. Then on the 6th, we have Uranus retrograde begins in the sign of Gemini. So there's going to be a lot of change this month in the best of ways, if you so choose. What eclipse season tends to do is wipe out the things that we no longer need, that no longer serve us, and then bring in what is here to support us. If you fight against it, not going to be the easiest, but if you have an awareness and you are, oh, okay, this is what's going on, then it will be, like I said, just so much easier for you. Now, what's interesting is September is a big month of change when I like tune in and look at all the things that are going on. But what's interesting is when Uranus goes retrograde, that change can all of a sudden feel really slow. So, my advice then is to, if there are things that you want to change, to kind of take them in small bits or one step at a time and just work on one small change that you can control. That way, it doesn't feel so slow, or maybe not so of a overwhelming thing because you don't want to get overwhelmed. Change is inevitable, right? The only constant is change. Let's embrace this month and so that the rest of 2025 can be more anchored into what we truly want and what truly supports our highest good and greatest happiness. Yay, who doesn't want that? So we have that. Then on the 7th, we have the Pisces lunar eclipse. And like I said, lunar eclipses tend to illuminate things that are no longer necessary, release, let go. Solar eclipse, bring in. Um, but that doesn't mean that it's also not going to, it's just shedding light so that once again you're aware of things. And with Pisces, once again, we have this really strong Piscean energy at the beginning of the month. It's a lot of the subconscious, or maybe we've been ignoring our intuition on something. And so really tuning into that as well. And as always, take what resonates, leave the rest. You have your own intuition, trust it, your own inner compass. So if there's been something that's been like niggling at you, this would be a great day, time to really take a deeper dive into what that is and what that means for you. Each one of us is on our own personal journey, right? Obviously, there are things that affect the collective, right? But there are also things that are going to be new, unique to you and where you are and your perspective and your experiences. So always trust that whatever is shifting for you is absolutely exactly where you are supposed to be. Then moving down towards the later bit of the month, on the 18th, Mercury enters Libra, and of course Libra is about relationships, also ruled by Venus. So this is a really good day to connect for communication. And when I tuned in, it was more about, I kept hearing teamwork, teamwork. So wherever you may have maybe not been on the same page about something, it is an amazing day to have a really good conversation, to connect. And when I say conversation, there's always that, well, we need to talk. No, 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 no. Go do something playful. When you play, you are more relaxed, you get the best of each other. And so then you're open to see a different perspective. And so communication is super clear, super great on that day. Go for it. On the 19th, Venus enters Virgo, and what's interesting is there's more of a practicality to love that comes in with Venus and Virgo. And of course, there's also about, the whole details and things like that. But to me, it's more of like a focus on the day-to-day love practices that you have in your relationships. And of course, obviously, your first primary relationship is always with yourself. So what day-to-day practice of love do you have for yourself? And if you don't have one, just putting it out there, maybe it's a good time to start one if you so choose. Once again, if it feels good, great. If not, great. Moving on. On the 21st, we have the Virgo solar eclipse. And this is a good day to either start new projects, work on a current project. Like it just feels like there's just so much support, like a boost. I don't know. It's like there's this double dose of support, especially with details and projects. So that feels super great. And then the 22nd, we have the sun entering Libra. So happy birthday to all Libras. And what's also interesting is Mars enters Scorpio this day. And so there's an extra kick of intensity too, little extra dose of passion, if you will, as well. So take that for whatever that is worth. A wink. All right. So now favorable days for love and connection. And this can also be connecting with self. Like I said earlier, it can also be connecting with friends. Maybe you want to plan an outing, meet up, go somewhere, try something new, a new adventure. Maybe you want to try rock climbing. I don't know why that just came in, but or go visit a new park, whatever it is, and wherever you are. But yeah, lots of fresh to death dates here. So I had to write them down once again because there's no way I was going to remember all these. So the best days for love and connection, or dates, are the 7th, the 9th, the 12th, the 15th, the 18th, the 19th, the 22nd, and the 30th. So again, the 7th, the 9th, the 12th, the 15th. Isn't that awesome? These powers of three, the 18th, the 19th, the 22nd, and then the 30th. So there we go with another three. Fascinating. So then after I tuned in, looked at the calendar, looked at the dates, planetary transits, all that magic, I then tuned into some Oracle tarot cards and just asked, like, what is the overarching energy? What can support us best at this time? Insights, anything we need to be aware of, so on and so forth. And so for the overall energy for the month, I got the Oracle card, the moon. Look how beautiful that is. Um, and number 37, which is add those together, you get a 10, which is kind of like culmination, right? End of a journey, end of a cycle, which I find fascinating. I find it fascinating that we have the moon because the first part of the month, like I said, had this very intuitive, watery, very Pisces energy, and which I think just links perfectly. But, and we, of course, we then have that big lunar eclipse. What's more, when I tune in even more about this, is it really is about ebb and flow and balance and the cycle of things. And like I said, 3 + 7, we have a 10, which is like the finality of a cycle. Then you go to the, if you take it down to a single digit, you have the one, the beginning of a cycle. Coincidence? Never on this channel. Always synchronicities. Um, and then with the balance, when I tuned in a little more, the moon highlights what is hidden or the subconscious, which, like I said, the beginning of the month is all about that. And it's also honoring both our light and our shadow. We live in a world that is dualistic and it's honoring both sides. Both sides complement each other. You can't have one without the other. You can't have day without night and vice versa, right? So it's this whole balance. And I think especially because this month is going to be like just supercharged, very busy, like with all the planetary transits, it's remembering that, okay, today might be a super, busy, wild day, but then the next day or, 2 days later, you have the ebb and the integration time, right? And life is like that. Your journey is an ebb and a flow, and it's not resisting being in one phase or favoring the one phase over the other because both are necessary in our journey. Okay, that got a lot more like esoteric than I thought it would be, but okay, I'm here for it. All right. So then I pulled three tarot cards, and the first one that came up is Seven of Air, or excuse me, Seven of Earth, which interesting. So it's there's a decision, like a decision. So you're making a decision. And maybe that decision is about what to release with this lunar eclipse and or what to bring in with a solar eclipse. It could also be about a new strategy. So with if you are in like working on a project, whether it's, your job, if it's a hobby, there's this opportunity to see from a different perspective, to have a new strategy come in, almost like a light bulb moment that now you're able to see or to see a different path. But it just feels like so supportive, like now's the time. You want to pivot? Let's do this. Like now is the time. And to me, this card speaks to that and is just very supportive for making decisions and for strategy, once again, as to what's going to be the most supportive for you. Then the next one that came out is Ace of Air, the little Pegasus. Hey, holla. And what's interesting because there's a lot of mm, fate and destiny around this card. And what made me giggle when that card jumped out is that to me, that's also one of the, I don't want to say tasks of eclipses, is they kind of sometimes it's ready or not, here I come. It can sweep away things that aren't meant for us and then bring in those faded things. And it's also a really good synchronicity. So pay attention to synchronicities, especially this month, especially around those eclipses. We are communicating, we are in constant communication with the universe. But are we paying attention? Are we listening? So it's interesting because I worked with a beautiful client the other day, and this topic came up, and I said, "Oh, well, do you notice any synchronicities, or how are you communicating with your guides?" And so she had mentioned about how she often sees repeating numbers like 999, so on and so forth. And then after our session, she had to go drive somewhere, and the car in front of her in traffic had a license plate 999. Hilarious. Anyway, synchronicities. It happens all the time. So maybe have just kind of like a heightened awareness, whether it's a song on the radio, a license plate, a number, an animal, an insect, whatever. And maybe you're not familiar with what that might mean. You can do a quick Google search, but synchronicities, and if you feel pulsed. So, for example, maybe you want to get out there more and date, but you don't want to like necessarily do a dating app. Maybe there are meetups, and maybe you've been thinking that for a while, and then see an ad pop up or something. There's your sign, right? So really trust in the synchronicities even more so this month, which sounds funny because once again, trust our instincts, trust those synchronicities all the time, but it just feels like, yeah, there's going to be something that could really be tied to your destiny and your path. So let me know in the comments. Then the third one is a King of Fire, which love, love, love. And of course, there's that inspiration, the creativity, right, that you have with the fire. But with the King of Fire, there's this beauty of like owning your mastery in the best of ways, in like a humble way. Be like, this is my mastery. I'm a leader. Like, I know what I'm good at, but not being careful to not have that, not allow that to keep you rigid. Like, okay, I'm master, so I don't need to learn anymore, or I can't get any new insights. Be having that flexibility, um, which is why we have like this beautiful, like sacred heart symbol there. Having that flexibility to own your mastery in humility and still being open to opportunities, other perspectives, to continuing to grow. So we never stop growing. So even though I might be a master in X, Y, and Z certificates, I still continue to deepen that and to learn even more. Does that make sense? So, yeah, but I love that because and what's fascinating, what I absolutely love is, I know I love everything, but truly though, so we have the moon, and to me, the moon is of it because it controls, like the not control, let's say influences the tides. There's the watery aspect to it. Then we have the earth element. Then we have the air element. Then we have the fire element. And so to me, like I said, September's super busy, and I feel like it really is going to affect all the aspects of our lives, all the different areas. in the best ways. And of course, how could it not? Because everything is interconnected, right? Just like your mental, physical, emotional, spiritual bodies are all interconnected. You can't get away from that. Each area of your life overlaps in some way. And so I love the support that these cards are showing to us that, yeah, we got change, but don't fear. You got this. Here's the support. Here's the insight. Here's the best way to work with these energies. And lastly, I was guided to pull from actually, it's called a deep dive oracle deck, all about water. So, yeah, it's like I said, I'm just feeling the watery energies this month. And the card is True Essence. So beautiful. Love that. And we have a heart again. So, something to some heart energy this month. And it reads, let yourself feel all of your emotions. And honor them as a vital part of you, of your complete self. So, whatever comes up this month, especially during these eclipses, don't fight it because it's not going to go away if you fight it. Just allow it to come up, acknowledge it, ride the wave. No emotion stays forever. Just acknowledge it, whatever it may be. There are no bad emotions. It's all just energetic information that comes up. Acknowledge it, thank it, have awareness, and just keep shining your beautiful light. All right. Thank you so much for watching. I truly do appreciate each and every one of you and for taking the time, for clicking on this video and for watching it. Truly humbled. It's an honor to share with you. All right. Thank you so much. Give this video a thumbs up, click subscribe, share with your friends, help spread the love vibes around the world. And until next time, more love vibes to come. Ciao.